digital sovereignty is really important because it allows us to take control of our own destiny. We shouldn't be a slave to the computer, and we shouldn't be a slave to others' version of software. So yeah, I think it's important we own that, we create that, we build that in our own term, in our own spaces. Kia nei, koira ki te digital sovereignty. Mā tā no o tātou au matihiko e hanga. Haramati te atu o tātou au matihiko e hanga. To be sovereign ourselves in our own digital software, it's not a very easy path to walk. It's a path that takes courage and fortitude and belief. And I think sometimes we don't think that we have the ability to create our own software, but we totally have that ability. We can build anything we want. So yeah, I think sometimes we just got to have a little bit more faith in ourselves, a little bit more courage in ourselves, believe we can build it, and then invest that in ourselves. Yeah, our youth are clever people, so let's get them being clever for us.
He kai atawhairaranga Māori ahau ki Nicholson Consulting. No reira I tērā huatanga e mahi ana hau I te taho te Māori data sovereignty, Māori data governance and hoki. Coming into this kaupapa and working alongside Natalie and Tikanga and Technology, I definitely thought that, and still think it, that this kaupapa is about inspiring our tangata Māori, our people in kind of harnessing their absolute potential. And when you look at data and the Western lens, they definitely apply data in a very strict and evidence-based process, and I think something that we bring to the table and Indigidata is trying to Indigidata kei te poipoi tērā I a mātou rangatahi I a mātou rangatira anō hoki me pehea rātou e putaina ki te ao I ngā pukenga kei a rātou.
Hello everybody, my name is Dr. Desi Small Rodriguez. I introduced myself in my language. I'm a citizen of the Northern Cheyenne Nation. I come from the north of what is currently called the United States and a state that's currently called Montana. So I'm a citizen of the Northern Cheyenne Nation. I'm also Chicana. I was raised biculturally, bilingually on my reserve or my reservation. So I'm very proudly a res girl, which is kind of synonymous probably to a pa kid here in Aotearoa. And I'm a social demographer. So the work that I do is largely in the realm of population statistics, pushing back against those data, the data that aren't accurate, the data that are, that are missing us, that are not counting us, or that are miscounting us, and really thinking about how do we do this better? How do we do population data better for Indigenous peoples? And the answer in how to do that is always, it has to be done by us. Indigidata is obviously this international, movement. But we also have, kind of concurrent movements around Indigenous data sovereignty. We have a global Indigenous Data Alliance. So the kind of Indigenous data world is very global. We're all colleagues and mates and relatives, and we work alongside one another. We support one another. And so the work that I do in the US is very much informed by the work here, by the Māori Data Sovereignty Network. I run a lab called the Data Warriors Lab, and I'm the executive director there. So we're on wheels. So essentially we have this big truck and this big mobile classroom that's completely kitted out with all of the kind of tech that we need, and all of our computers, all of our screens, all of our iPads and mobile kind of data collection devices. And we go out where we're asked to come. We go into the tribal communities where we're invited to go, and we work on the projects that they ask us to work on.